Yo guys, what is up? Max in our video, and today we're talking about all of the new changes coming to Diablo 4. Now, I am very excited for this game, but I haven't been keeping up with all of the information that's been coming out, and we've been getting a ton of information for this game over the past year. So I took a ton of time to research and find all of the biggest changes, all of the things that I think are going to be the biggest new features of the game, and condensed them into one video for you. I hope you enjoy the video. Let's get right into it. Coming in at our number 10 spot, and these are in no particular order, is Legendary Aspects. Now, for those of you that are familiar with Diablo 3, you probably know of the Kunai Cube. The Kunai Cube was a way to benefit from the special effect of a legendary item without actually having that legendary equipped. And they're taking the Kunai Cube and doing a little spin on it that's going to be really interesting. And these have to do with Legendary Aspects. Now, when you get a legendary piece of gear, it's going to have a unique effect on it. Now, that unique effect, you can take off of that piece of gear, breaking it, and move that legendary effect onto another piece of gear. You can move it onto another legendary, and that legendary will be changed. So you can't have two legendary effects on one piece of gear, or you can actually move it onto a rare piece of gear. Now, the kicker here is that rare pieces of gear will have more stat rolls than legendary. So the way that you're going to be min-maxing at endgame is you're going to be trying to find the legendaries that you want, and then god roll rares, and then moving or imprinting that legendary aspect onto your rare pieces. Where this gets even more in depth is with the Codex of Power. Now, when you complete a dungeon, you will unlock a legendary aspect in your Codex of Power. This is going to give you a legendary aspect that you can put on your pieces of gear, but it comes with the very worst damage roll of that aspect. For those of you, once again, are familiar with the Kunai Cube, when you socket an item in the Kunai Cube, it always gives you the max roll of that legendary. Well, aspects and the Codex of Power will always give you the lowest roll. So you can start getting a build together by just doing some dungeons. You'll get these legendary aspects to put on your gear, but to min-max, you're going to want to find these legendaries out in the world, out in these hardest content, and then you can take those max roll rolls of those legendary uniques and put them onto your rare items or onto another legendary item. This is going to change how you kind of farm and make these kind of builds. At our number 9 spot are no set items at launch. Now, they did hint that set items may be coming after launch, but the game is not launching with them. If you're wondering what a set item is, well, in Diablo 3, set items were a little bit notorious. These were items of a set that when you equipped 6 of them, you would get a special bonus. And this special bonus, at least in Diablo 3, was very overtuned. Sometimes you would be getting 27,000% increased damage while you were wearing this set. This, in my opinion, destroyed build crafting, because most of the time, if you weren't wearing one of these sets, regardless of Legacy of Dreams and stuff like that, you were just missing out on so much damage. So not having sets means you're going to have to get more creative with your build, because it's not going to have an outline of exactly what skills and what things you're going to be doing the most damage with. This is going to open up build crafting when the game first launches, and I'm really excited for that. The next big change, and I am very excited for this, is you have to unlock your difficulties. Now, when you first start the game, you can play on World Tier 1 or World Tier 2, basically normal difficulty or veteran difficulty. But past that, to unlock World Tier 3, the Hell, the Nightmare, and the Torment levels of difficulty, you need to actually complete a dungeon, a specific dungeon on that difficulty. As opposed to when you're playing Diablo 3, oh, you feel like turning it to Torment 2, you can do that. You feel like turning it to Torment 16, even though you're only level 10, you can do that. In this game, the difficulty tiers are going to be less at launch. They're going to be heavily rewarded, but you cannot just turn it to difficulty 5 or Hell difficulty because you feel like it. You actually have to earn your way and progress through the difficulties, and that is really cool. I'm looking forward to that challenge, and it means that you're going to need to be more prepared for these big tests that come at the end of each difficulty level. Our next big change coming to Diablo 4 is the Renown system. Now, this is going to be in addition to your character level, your Paragon level, your difficulty level. You will have a Renown level. Now, Renown is going to promote exploration of the maps. engaging with world activities, clearing strongholds, clearing dungeons. Different activities will give you a different amount of renown level. Now, when you level up with renown, you're going to gain big bonuses. You're going to get gold. And most importantly, you're going to get extra skill points. So while you can sit there and farm and just kill a bunch of enemies, when you go out and explore and find altars of Lilith, which will be collectibles around the world that will actually give you increased stats, you are able to get extra skill points. So you're going to want to, when you get to new areas, explore around, do the strongholds, do the dungeons, engage with world activities, because you're going to have an additional way to earn a bunch of gold and get more skill points, which I'm really looking forward to. The world of Diablo 4 is looking to be pretty massive in terms of like the open areas, and they're incentivizing you discovering new areas, incentivizing you discovering these collectibles, because you can level up your character that way as well, which I think is really neat. Speaking of the open world of Diablo, that is another thing that is very new for Diablo. This is going to be an open shared world. Now, the open world is a set layout. It is not randomized like it has been in the past. It's going to be a massive play area where you can go out and gather resources. You can engage in, like, there's going to be local events that are very like specific to just like happening while you're running through, that could be randomized. There's going to be big zone events that you will like be alerted of that they're going on, and these massive world bosses that will be happening more on a schedule. There's going to be PvP. There's just so much more activities in Diablo 4 outside of just doing greater and Nephilim rifts, for example. And this aspect, this more social aspect, this more like big team kind of aspect of Diablo, I'm very much looking forward to. The next big change coming to Diablo 4 is the skill tier progression system. Now, this is very new from Diablo 3 to Diablo 4. Diablo 2 is a little bit more similar, but this system is very interesting. So the way it works is you're going to have a skill tree, and as you work through that skill tree, you're going to unlock more and more complex things. Now, as opposed to a normal skill tree where you need to directly path to something to unlock it, you're going to unlock things just by the quantity of skills that you put into your skill tree. So your decision making is going to be picking up what passives and active skills that you want, but you're not going to miss out on getting ultimate skills or ultimate passives by speccing to the right or left and not speccing closer to the ultimate skills, for example. So when you first start speccing skills into this skill tree, you're going to be picking up very basic nodes. Then once you have some basic nodes picked up, your resource generating skills, then you get to move on to core skills. Core skills are going to be your resource spenders, your bread and butter of a lot of builds. Then once you get to more of the like 6, 11, 16 mark of skills, you have 16 skill points spent into your skill tree, you're going to start getting more like conditional, more utility skills and passives that are going to focus on movement, defense, utility. And then once you get down to 23 points, you're going to get ultimate clusters to get ultimate skills, and around 33 points, you're going to get the ultimate passives. The way this skill tree works, though, is you're going to be speccing into skills to unlock them so that you can actually use those skills. But the more points that you invest into a skill, the more powerful the skill is going to be. And you can actually get skill points on gear. So, for example, you could have 4 out of 4 points into Bash. This is going to give Bash 40% more damage than it would have if you would only put 1 point into it, and then you can pick up an axe that's got +4 into Bash, and now you've got 8 out of 4 points into Bash, and it's going to be doing even more damage. So that is a new kind of, not like super new, if you're coming from Diablo 2, but pretty new system to Diablo 4. Next up, we've got the Paragon board. Now, this looks overwhelming and confusing when you first see it. It took me about 15 minutes to fully understand what was going on here. So once you hit level 50, you are then able to unlock Paragon points. You're going to get 4 Paragon points every time you level up. Sounds like Diablo 3, right? Well, the way that Paragon works in Diablo 4 is very different. You're going to be spending points on kind of a puzzle board. Now, this puzzle board has got 9 quadrants, and you can rotate these quadrants any way that you'd like. You can change the skills that were at the top of the Paragon board and put them at the bottom. You can really mix and match here. Now, the way that you're going to be working is you're going to be speccing points into one of these like tiles or one of these puzzle boards, and as you put points in there, you can pick up some passives, but what's really important is the glyphs. Now, glyphs are items that drop from bosses, I believe dungeon bosses, and they are going to have big impacts on your tree. Think of how if you've ever played Path of Exile, how you can get like a jewel, and that jewel will change some of the effects of the skills around it. These glyphs, you can socket them in. They'll give you a big benefit, but they can also affect the nodes around it. Now, these glyphs have size, so they can be small, medium, or large, and the larger ones will have bigger effects and affect more things around it, and they have levels. Now, doing a specific endgame activity can level up your glyphs, giving them higher percentage damage on whatever the things are, or affecting more nodes. Now, this is going to be an endgame grind similar to leveling up your like gems that you could level up in Diablo, doing greater rifts. You can level up your glyphs, and as you do harder content, level them higher and higher. There is so much to learn with this Paragon board that I can't cover it in this specific video, but look forward to that because it's going to be crazy. The next big new thing that's coming to Diablo is, unfortunately, the Battle Pass. Diablo is getting a Battle Pass. They are going very deep in character customization. You're going to be able to have so much more control of how your character looks, what they're wearing, how their appearance is. And in addition to that, there are coming with the Battle Pass. This is one of the things that is new. I'm not hyping up a Battle Pass, I promise you. I'm pretty frustrated with the fact, but it is new and it is a big new feature. And if you're paying the most premium edition of, or buying the most premium edition of Diablo, you get skips in that Battle Pass. It's going to be something that's there. It should be something that you are aware of. So that's why I put it in this video. The next big change coming to Diablo 4 is trading. Now, trading was a bit of a mess in Diablo 3 at launch, looking at you, Auction House. And then trading kind of pretty much got exiled. There was no trading in Diablo 3. You could give an item to a friend that you were playing with, but besides that, there wasn't anything like PoE where you've got big forums with people trading things for different currencies. Now, Diablo 4 does have trading in it, but it's going to be very limited. Now, you can trade common items, magic items, rare items, gold, gems, and elixirs, and you cannot trade legendary items or aspects, unique items, enchanted items, all other currencies but gold, and you cannot trade quest items. So there is going to be trading, but it's going to be much more limited. If you need a special effect or a unique item or a legendary item, you can't just trade for it. And I love that because I want to have to go farm for my build. I want to have to put in the work and not just spend most of my time farming for my build by trading to other players. Now, you can trade rare items, and as I outlined earlier in the video, rare items are going to be way more important in this game than they have been in any prior Diablo, and you can also trade gems. So there is going to be some level of player-to-player trading. However, it doesn't seem like it's going to be as crazy as something like a Path of Exile, for example. And lastly, I guess this is technically the number 1 spot. I kind of did it in opposite order where like number 10 was the thing I was most excited for. And number 1 I'm not super excited for, but it just happened to be the last one that I found out about, is the gathering and the different materials and currencies in Diablo 4. Now, Diablo 4 has a whopping 23 different materials that you can grind for with 3 different currencies. You can gather plants. You're going to need to be gathering plants to have crafting materials. This is kind of where more of the MMO aspect of Diablo 4 comes in. There are a bunch of different plants: Blightshade, Lifesbane, Redamine, Biteberry. These can be used to craft potions, elixirs, and there's different monster parts. When you kill big monsters, you can get beast bones, pale tongues, demon hearts. These are also crafting materials. There's ores. If you go out and mine ores, you can get iron, silver, prisms. There's skins, like you kill a deer, you can get leather, rawhide. There's salvage from breaking down things. There's currency. There's currency both via gold from like enemies that you kill, and then the world activities, world bosses will give you a separate currency. There's just a lot of currencies. I think this is going to be a bit of a more MMO aspect. I'm hoping that there's like a bounty system where you can just kind of do bounties and get all your materials, and I don't have to spend any of my time playing this game whacking a rock or a bush to get something that I need to make a potion. Personally, I don't enjoy that kind of gameplay, but it might be pretty present, just to let you know that there are all these different materials and currencies that are going to be a little bit more MMO aspecty as like compared to how Diablo 3 was. Guys, that is going to do it for the video. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something new. There's a ton of information out on the internet about this game, and I kind of just wanted to condense it down into one video. I will be making more Diablo 4 content. I plan to be having lots of build videos for this game. So if you enjoyed it and are looking forward to more, appreciate you dropping a subscribe. And I'll catch y'all in the next one, guys. Take care. Peace.